Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live. I'm so privileged and incredibly honored as a proud, MasterChef fan and the biggest fan of Ella Bella as well. We are so privileged to have Ella Bella in studio with us, who was a contestant on MasterChef South Africa for 2024. Ella is also a teacher, an environmental activist, and she also has a master's degree in dramatic arts from Wits University. Now, Ella is incredible in terms of community work. She is incredibly passionate about giving back to the community as well as the environment. Ella is also the director of Miss Earth South Africa, and she also started an incredible organization called Merchants of Light, which is an amazing organization that provides food to disadvantaged communities in Johannesburg. She's incredibly passionate about food, about people, environment and community. So join us in our conversation this evening as we delve a bit more into Ella's journey. Good evening, Ella. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live.
Thank you, Nazia.
I mean, it's such an immense privilege for me to be able to speak to you about MasterChef South Africa. I'm the biggest fan of the show. Can you tell us what inspired you to enter MasterChef South Africa? What a huge undertaking. Tell us more.
Oh, you know what, there was an advert and I thought, you know what, I kind of thought about it and wondered about it. But my sister and my nephew said, listen, you have to enter. My nephew is a huge fan of my cooking, thank goodness. And he was like, you have to do this. I've always had a dream about being on TV. I've always had a dream about, kind of connecting with people. And to do that, TV is a great mechanism to do that. There are other mechanisms, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about TV. So for me, when I applied, I thought, you know what, I love cooking, I love TV, and this is like the combination of both. So it was a win-win, and I thought, you know what, I didn't even think too hard about it. A lot of people have said, oh, that was quite brave. And I thought, okay, looking back, yeah, maybe it was a bit crazy and a bit brave all in one, but I was so excited about how two elements that I love with such a huge passion came together, and everything just aligned.
I love to hear that, and I think people are saying that you're brave because MasterChef South Africa, or MasterChef in general, is known to be notoriously difficult. The challenges are difficult, and a lot of people actually enter. And speaking about that, making it to the top 20 is such a huge achievement. Tell us about how you felt in that moment, and what was your overall feeling?
Oh, you know what? I remember getting the final call about making it to the top 20, and I was actually in Cape Town on Table Mountain. So I was literally on top of the world. I got the call and I felt on top of the world. I was there with my family, so it just was so special. We were doing something as just a little tour, just our little family going up Table Mountain. And, for me, it was so monumentous to realize this is huge. This is wonderful. It's going to be crazy. And I didn't realize they were actually filming in Cape Town. So to convince the family, that was quite something. But the support from my little people, my little children, that for me was huge. Luke and Anastasia, they kept on rooting me on. And they were like, Mommy, you my master chef. So when I got in, I was just like, this is so fantastic. It all coming together for me. So when it was the actual step to say, okay, this is now what is required of me, I thought, I had to take a step back and say, what am I going to cook? So it was a whole range of different emotions and different roller coaster ride. But that support from family really kind of pushed me over and said, you know what, I'm going to bring whatever it is. I'm going to face the challenges. I'm not going to watch too many of the MasterChef shows because they are daunting and they are scary. But, when you realize, you know what, I've got something to offer, that you just have to hold on to, and you're just brave and crazy all in one, and you just do it.
It's amazing how, a support structure or good support structure can actually push you forward from doing towards doing something that you are a little bit nervous about but are excited about at the same time. And as a viewer of MasterChef, I think that's always our question at home, is how do you know what to cook? Now, your background is incredible. I mean, in education, environmental activism, sustainability, and you're incredibly passionate about giving back and being, a beacon of light to communities. What inspires your cooking? What from your background really inspires your cooking, your recipes? Because food has emotional connection, and what we put on our plate has so much of love and so much of memory, and food has a way of bringing people together or reminding us of our greatest and worst moments. Tell us what inspires your cooking.
You know what, it really is that family connection. I remember from a young age being in the kitchen while my mom was cooking and watching her cook with such love and passion. And for me, when I cook, I go back to those memories. I go back to the memories of cooking for my dad. He's passed now, but he loved my mom's cooking, and he adored her, just whoever she was and what she embodied. And that was the mother, the chef, the cook, all those things. So I think there is that element. There's an element of being born and bred in South Africa, where there is a whole palette of tastes and flavors that we get to play with in the kitchen. And that's fun, and then of course there's my husband's Portuguese. So, there's that influence as well. No one can cook like my mother-in-law, definitely not. No one can cook like my Greek mother. But in my kitchen, I bring in all those influences and I play. That for me is what cooking is. It's playing. And you've obviously got to have a bit of an understanding of flavors and balance and how things go together. But for me, what is so much fun is that I get to create different things. And I know when I was changing a couple of recipes in the lead up to the MasterChef kitchen, my mom had a bit of a twitch every time I tried to change a recipe. But that's how you are adventurous in your cooking. That's how you create your own style. So I knew that I was bringing that to the MasterChef kitchen.
I love that. Food is such a creative space, and I know all the grannies out there will probably cringe at all of us for changing and modernizing a lot of the traditional dishes. But that's what's exciting about food, is that it can change and develop with each person who makes it. It's the same as if you make a traditional family dish. You can tell when your mom has made it, and you can tell when you have made it. It's the hand that makes it. 100%. Food has such a beautiful way of reminding you of, beautiful family moments like you shared, of people that you love and you miss, and it has a way of bringing you back to those moments and those incredible memories that you get to make, and then you get to share those very same recipes with your own little ones as well. So it has such a beautiful connection in families, in gatherings, and that's what I love so much about food. Now, in the MasterChef kitchen, I know this is a question we've been getting from guests or viewers rather, that we have to ask you. What is your most memorable, experience, or one of your most memorable moments in the MasterChef kitchen? From the challenges, to the daunting challenges that you do experience on the show, what was your most memorable moment?
You know what, for me, I think the one thing that stands out is the relationships that were created and built with the other contestants. This is a group of 20 phenomenal young people that make up, and I say young because we're all young at heart in some way. They are young, passionate about food, passionate about kitchen. And for me, it was so beautiful getting to know them, who they are, learning about their experiences, their journey in the kitchen and how it began and how it's going and what their future plans are. And for me, it was so special to kind of connect with those people. The other memorable thing that I have to say is bringing the sustainability part into the kitchen. I'm green at heart. For many years, we've worked on the Miss Earth South Africa. It's currently in its 21st year. And I don't need to tell you that as a former Miss Earth South Africa winner. You just embody it. You can't help but see things differently. And when we go to schools, we wear these big green glasses for the kids to see and to inspire them to look through the green lenses and look and see, what is it that I can do in my kitchen, in my home, in my classroom, at university that can do a little bit easier on the environment? What can I do to lessen my footprint in a sustainable way? How do I reduce the water that I'm using in my kitchen? How do I reuse the scraps that I'm creating with the off peels? And how do I create my own compost heap? For me, it was so much fun to share those little bits of tips with the people that I was engaging with in the MasterChef kitchen to say, you know what, sustainability, you are able to be sustainable in the kitchen if you just put on those green lenses and look at the way in which you're preparing food, look at the way in which you are creating those memories we spoke about earlier, and saying, I can do better to recycle, to reduce, and in essence, to respect Mother Nature.
Completely agree with you. I think once you step into a space where you are more conscious about your actions and, you know, the repercussions of those actions on the environment around you, you cannot help but look at everything with that sense of green consciousness. And that's absolutely something I experience to this day. I always look at ways that I can do something better, a way that I can reduce my waste, the way in which I can, you know, implement greener practices into my day-to-day lifestyle, and how I can spread that on to others. And that is something that I love that you brought to the MasterChef kitchen, you know, being able to teach and share those little environmental tips, because every little bit does count. Every little bit that every single person does in their day-to-day lives, those little changes make such a big difference in terms of the bigger impact that we do have on the environment. So I love that you have done that. You're so incredibly passionate about community, and you do incredible projects in communities all across South Africa. What I have to ask this evening is regarding your community work. I know you have something incredible coming up. We're on the brink of Mandela Day. Tell us more about what you have going on for Mandela Day.
You know what, this is a very special time of the year because people's hearts open up and they want to be involved, they want to give, and that's so special because we do it every day. So we kind of take it for granted that, you know, people are able to do it. You aren't. Some people are not able to just go out and feed, go out and buy school shoes, and go to a township and go to a rural area or an informal settlement and say, you know what, this is the pair of shoes, this is the bowl of food. And yet on Mandela Day, there's this magic that just flows through our whole country and the world at large, where people stop and say, you know what, I'm going to consider somebody else. I'm going to consider what other people are doing. So we've got quite a couple of amazing volunteers that are joining us at 3 different locations for the course of the day. We start off in Soweto, Kliptown, at a school, which we've visited a few times before, but we're adding to their vegetable garden. And it's so lovely to work with schools and communities that work with us. You know, they're looking after the garden, so we're adding to the garden. They need a couple of tools, so we're adding to the tools that they already have because they look after them. They take the produce and use it in their kitchen for the children to have a more nutritious meal. So, you know, there's also the MasterChef kind of element there because, you know, they're launching their first, well, not their first, but they're launching a new kitchen that the Department of Education has given them and built, and they really need that because, you know, to work under specific kind of conditions, when you change your environment and you upgrade your environment, there's a different love, there's a different passion. So that's going on. We've got a feeding in Rosettenville as well. We've also got a feeding in Orange Farm in Drizek. So there's a lot of projects on the go, and we're just trying to add a little bit of hope. Our organization is Merchants of Light, where we are adding light, hope, changing one moment in a person's life. A bowl of food can do that. A stationery bag full of stationery, colors, scissors, glue, you know, that changes a mindset of a child. And that is what we hope to do. Merchants of Light, merchants exchanging light for light. And that, we do believe, has a knock-on effect. Yes, we might not see the long-term effects of it really in the next 2-3 years, but when you speak to someone's soul, when you speak to someone's heart, there is impact there. We've been able to do that through the Miss Earth South Africa for so many years, teaching young women about themselves and how they too can be confident and, you know, embody what it means to be an environmental ambassador. And they go out into schools and teach young people how to go green, how to be sustainable. And so this knock-on effect is long-term and short-term, because you're changing a person's world in a moment. And for us, that bowl of food that they'll be getting tomorrow, and, you know, making every day a Mandela Day is really impactful for that one individual And if it is just one individual of those 3 different points, it is important that we try. So if people want to join or they want to, be involved in some way, not everybody can be down on the ground, but other people can be supportive. They can, add to what it is that we are exchanging with light. So for us, it is important to find us on social media. It's the Merchants of Light. And then my journey as well, the cooking side, the green side, it's Ella Bella Leite on Instagram, Ella Bella on Facebook. Reach out. Maybe it's just a conversation, and anybody and everybody can share that Madiba magic, not just on Mandela Day, but every day. Maybe it's just a smile. Maybe it's thank you for cleaning the floor. Thank you for this that you've given us. Everybody speaks the language of kindness, but we get so caught up in our own world that we realize that it just becomes me, me, me. Tomorrow, being Mandela Day, people stop and they reconsider. They stop and they say, what can I do outside of me?
No, I couldn't agree more. I think that is such a beautiful initiative. And I think my biggest takeaway from working with you in Miss Earth South Africa is that if we can all do a little bit to make the world just a little bit better, whether that be in our community or in our country, we have to take every single opportunity to be able to do that. And that's absolutely the legacy that Nelson Mandela has left behind for all of us to carry forward, to make every day a Mandela Day and to assist wherever we possibly can in our communities, in our country. It is our duty to be able to do that. And I love that you have this incredible project that so many people can come on board and get on board with. So, there's a beautiful way to be able to celebrate Mandela Day by giving back to communities. And like you said, you can make that little bit of an impact in that one child's life. They will remember you forever. But we thank you so much, Ella, for joining us this evening, for sharing your MasterChef journey as well as your incredible community work with us this evening.
Thank you.
Viewers at home, that is Ella Bella, MasterChef extraordinaire, as well as an incredible community activist and environmental activist. I think what Ella has shared with us this evening, tomorrow is Mandela Day, and if not tomorrow, maybe on the weekend, do make sure that you make your impact this Mandela Day. Give back to your community in whichever small way that you can. Every little bit counts. We all have a responsibility to make our country a better place. But do reach out to the Merchants of Light on social media platforms. If you're not really sure what you're doing as yet for Mandela Day, please do reach out to them. Support the projects that they have going on. They have some amazing support projects for different areas and in different communities. So if you are in those areas, please do reach out and join in on the Madiba legacy. But on that note, it is time for us to take an ad break, and we'll come right back.